We begin with the crisis in the Middle East. Israel hit Gaza with airstrikes over the weekend, leveling several buildings, including the offices of Al Jazeera and AP media outlets. Palestinian authorities say dozens were killed in the latest attacks, and now Palestinians living in Israel are threatening to go on strike in protest against Israel's government. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman is there with the latest.
Overnight, Israel said it dropped over 100 bombs on densely populated Gaza, targeting the Hamas tunnels that honeycomb that narrow strip of land. And moments later, the retaliation, rockets fired into the air, the Iron Dome interceptors blowing them out of the sky right above our heads. We ducked for cover.
We just got out of our car. We're lying in a ditch by the side of the road. You can see the Israeli soldier over there. Everybody in that checkpoint behind us also disappearing, trying to hide for cover.
Israel defending its deadliest airstrike on Gaza since the conflict began. 42 killed, most of them civilians, according to Palestinian health officials. Israel saying its bombings, which leveled at least 3 buildings, targeted the house of a Hamas leader. It's unknown whether he was home at the time, but Riyad Ashkantana's family was. His wife and 4 of his children were killed. And though badly wounded himself, he was wheeled back to that debris pile, kissing their faces one last time. Riyad telling our team in Gaza that right before another missile struck them, he screamed to his wife to get their children out of the building. And miraculously, his 7-year-old daughter pulled from the rubble alive. Over the weekend, another Israeli airstrike leveling the tower block housing many international news agencies, including the Associated Press and Al Jazeera English. They were given just an hour to evacuate. Israel's prime minister defending the strike.
It's a perfectly legitimate target.
Tensions rising. This video showing the moment a Palestinian driver rammed a group of police officers in the same Jerusalem neighborhood where the eviction of 6 Palestinian families from their homes was one of the triggers for the outbreak of this conflict. Hamas launching over 3,100 rockets at Israel at a rate 5 times higher than in any previous conflict. I want to give you a sense of what those rocket blasts can do. The rocket landed about 20 yards away, 2 floors down. Now, the family here was eating its Sabbath meal when the siren sounded. They managed to sprint to their bomb shelter just in time.
And some really scary moments. Matt Gutman joins me now live from just outside Gaza with more. Matt, we're glad to see that you are safe. How are people there dealing with these just constant attacks?
I think that they've settled into a sort of routine. So when we were here and the rockets fired overhead and they were really exploding right above us, it was over after a couple minutes, and then the people who had just ducked into cover over there's a makeshift bomb shelter, just sort of strolled out like nothing really had happened. They're like, we're not afraid. But I don't think we can underestimate the degree to which this has affected Israeli society in general, right? The majority of the population has been under those sirens, has heard the rockets and the interceptors overhead. The country's basically been shut down for a week. The international airport's been shut down, Israeli airspace. This has had a very significant impact on Israel, not nearly as significant, of course, as it has on the Palestinians. You know, we've seen dozens of buildings destroyed, 200 people killed, over 1,000 wounded. So there is a significant disparity in the effect on daily life. But I think in Israel, they've gotten used to this routine to some degree, at least.
And about 60 rockets were fired from Gaza overnight. That's down from hundreds over the past several nights. Could this be a sign that Israel's strikes are weakening Hamas, or that the militants are starting to run low on ammo?
Yeah, it's really hard to know, Eva. You know, we spoke to the Israeli military a couple of days ago. They said that Hamas still has many thousands of rockets left, that its arsenal is not nearly depleted. Maybe they have less desire. Maybe they're afraid because of the intensity, the ferocity of those airstrikes. 160 planes 2 nights ago, 200 planes the other night. All that bombing we saw overnight last night, it's really been intense. So maybe they're trying to avoid being out and becoming targets themselves. We don't really know right now. All of our Hamas contacts are mostly underground. They're not really talking to the press at this moment.
Which is understandable. They're all trying to stay safe right now. The UN also says Gaza's only power plant is running out of fuel, putting the area at risk of a blackout. I mean, how much worse can things get there right now?
they can always get worse, and they have been worse in years past. You know, in previous conflicts, there were many more dead, about over 2,000 dead, more destruction in Gaza. So we hope that it doesn't get there. But this issue of the power is a major concern. We spoke to an NGO a couple of days ago who already warned us of this. She said that Gaza's hospitals are going to run out of fuel, and when those generators go down, it's going to be very, very bad there. Remember, they're only about a few hours of electricity a day when things are going right. And now they're going to have almost zero power. So that is very scary. And we're going to go duck into cover. That's a siren overhead. You're probably going to see some outgoing rockets coming right now. We're going to go back into our ditch here. It's just become
Matt Gutman, get to safety.
Place.
We will check back in with you here in just a moment. That was Matt Gutman there for us in Israel. Now,
hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.